Christopher Columbus, a founder, a discoverer, a war hero. What was he? No, he was rather a disruptor, a pirate, and a very bad colonizer. The world's general attitude towards Columbus Day is changing these days with a critical understanding of what Columbus's journey to the New World truly meant for the Native Americans. No longer famous for simply sailing the ocean blue sea with God-fearing nature, Christopher Columbus, the name has become toxically bound up with the legacy of brutal colonialism, slavery, exploitation, and even murder. His is a legacy which has caused a growing number of communities to reject Columbus Day entirely. 8 cities in America have chosen to mark October 12th as the Indigenous Peoples' Day.
Murder, rapist,
genocide.
The atrocities committed, just grotesque. And the scars are still felt today.
Evil.
But after Columbus's arrival in the newfound America in 1492, he sailed to what he labeled Hispaniola, which is today's Haiti and the Dominican Republic, in the inept belief that he had discovered a shortcut to India. But he was thousands of miles away, of course. In fact, the only reason the indigenous red people in this country are commonly called Indian is that he mistakenly thought he was in India, and therefore arrogantly, like most of the Europeans do, he imposed a name on them. Christopher Columbus was a capable navigator. He was a very good explorer, but his unquenchable thirst for gold was his main intention of downfall. Things went so out of hand that the King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella sent a special judge, Francisco de Bobadilla, with an armed escort to arrest these 3 men. Even for the standards of the era, his behavior was very unacceptable. In his favor, it can be said that many people, starting with the Catholic monarchs and the Pinzon family, an influential Spanish merchant house, considered him very capable navigator and an explorer. His capacity was so appreciated. Even after his arrest, he was allowed to proceed with the 4th expedition to the New World, the Haiti genocide, one of the world's most brutal slaughtering of innocent people by the men of Christopher Columbus. They used to demand a lot of golds from the natives within the proper deadlines, and whoever couldn't do it, their hands were cut off within a second. When Christopher Columbus arrived, they were welcomed by the Taino Tribe, but slowly and gradually, the colonizers started dominating those tribes. The conflict between the indigenous people of Hispaniola, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic was led by Chief Hatüey and the Spanish conquistador led by Diego Velázquez. Hatüey was the chief of the Hispaniola after 1502, when a fleet of 30 Spanish ships brought the new governor, Nicolas Ovando, hundreds of Spanish settlers, and an estimated 100 enslaved Africans to Hispaniola. Spain was continuing its search for gold, and the Africans were brought to do the very hard labor. But before the first year was over, Governor Ovando complained to King Ferdinand that the enslaved Africans fled among the Indians, taught them bad customs, and could not be captured. The last 4 words reveal, after about a decade of armed resistance in Hispaniola, in 1511, Hatüey and 400 of his followers headed to Cuba. His plan was to mobilize his fellow Caribbean islanders against these Spanish intruders and their lust for gold, women, slavery, misery, and death. In Cuba, Chief Hatüey gave a very powerful speech to his fellow islanders. He said,
"Here is the God the Spaniards worship. For these they fight and kill. For these they persecute us, and that is why we have to throw them into the sea. They tell us, these tyrants, that they adore a God of peace and equality, and yet they usurp our land and make us their slaves. They speak to us of an immortal soul and of their eternal rewards and punishments, and yet they rob our belongings, seduce our women, violate our daughters. Incapable of matching us in valor, these cowards cover themselves with iron that our weapons cannot break."
Chief Hatüey's speech helped him organizing the large number of warriors and fought the Spaniards with the hope of information about climatic conditions and the guerrilla warfare. But finally, a Spanish official defeated Hatüey's troops in Cuba. On February 2nd, 1512, Hatüey was led out to public execution in the Spanish camp, where he was tied to a stake to be burnt alive. But before that, Chief Hatüey of the island of Hispaniola was asked if he wanted to accept Christianity and go to heaven. Hatüey asked if Spaniards go to heaven, to which the priest said that they will. Hatüey then stated that he'd rather go to hell, where he wouldn't see such cruel people. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, then please do not forget to like it, subscribe it, and of course comment on it.